Senator Lindsey Graham is terrified about an imminent threat to the United States. What is it? Well, let's watch.
We had 40,000 Brazilians come through the Yuma sector alone, headed for Connecticut, wearing designer clothes and Gucci bags. This is not economic migration anymore. People see an open America. They've taken advantage of us, and it won't be long before a terrorist gets in this crowd.
You heard it here, folks. Lindsey Graham is warning us about Brazilian fashionistas invading our borders with their Gucci bags. I mean, what is next, Cenk? Couture curriculum in elementary schools. That's what you can expect, okay? And by the way, there's no winning if you happen to be an immigrant. If you're poor, the United States government doesn't want you. If you're wealthy, apparently, the United States fears you as well. I mean, that was insane. That was insane. That was insane.
So we call out BS on our side. Just watch any show, anytime, and you'll see us call out Democrat after Democrat. But the right wing doesn't operate that way. They're just authoritarian. So Lindsey Graham says something that's an obvious, outrageous lie. And Sean Hannity, you think Sean Hannity's gonna correct him? No, because the lying is not the bug, it's the feature. So 40,000 Brazilians in Gucci bags in the Yuma sector. Okay, now let's break down in case there's like 7 of you out there who think that that's a real thing. So if they have Gucci bags, why don't they just fly in? That is how, by the way, most undocumented immigrants come to this country. They fly in. And then they overstay their visa. It's a super easy thing to do, especially if you're wealthy enough to own a Gucci bag. Do you know how easy it is to get a tourist visa and then overstay it? Why would someone wealthy go across the Rio Grande? Why would they go through the desert? And then 40,000 of them at a time with their Gucci bags.
With their Gucci bags.
In the Yuma sector. What is this, like a slow version of Clue?
I just think that Graham's concerned about the fact that they look way more fabulous than he does.
Oh, okay.
No, okay, so.
Colonel Mustard in the den with a candlestick. Guys, how could you not see it isn't true?
No, it's not, obviously it's not true. Okay, so first off, what's really going on here? Is there an influx of undocumented Brazilians? No. However, apparently this year there was a record number of Brazilians who were stopped at our southern border. Were they just let into the country? Of course not. So when he brings up the 40,000 figure, right? Reporters were like, where did you get that figure from? And he's very likely referring to the 42,000 Brazilians that were sent back at our southern border, okay? And by the way, the reporters looked at photos of those migrants as they were trying to come into the country, and none of them had any designer clothing or Gucci bags, like just completely made up stuff, completely. And by the way, what happened to the Republican Party? Remember, Trump was like, no, we'll let immigrants in if they're rich. You gotta prove that you can take care of yourself because we don't want you to, relying on the social safety net. So it's funny because they spent all this time fear-mongering about poor, desperate immigrants seeking asylum. And now they're fear-mongering about fashionistas from Brazil? What?
So by the way, a lot of those folks were Haitians who relocated to Brazil after the last, I shouldn't say last, the earthquake that happened about a decade ago, okay? So a lot of them moved to Brazil, and then the situation in Brazil got so bad and they got so desperate in Brazil because it's also led by a right-wing monster. And so the economy's in tatters, corruption is awful, the usual stuff that happens when the right wing gets into place. But there are a lot of people with Gucci bags, but they're not coming here. They're staying there and having the time of their lives destroying the middle class in Brazil. So people are now leaving Brazil, and a lot of those Haitians that have been living there came up here. And what did we do, as Anna told you? We returned them. We've been actually brutal to Haitian immigrants. But you can't be brutal enough for Lindsey Graham and Sean Hannity. They're gonna lie about you anyway. Joe Biden, you were terrible to the Haitian immigrants. And what did it get you? Did it get you any kind of agreement from the Republicans? Did it get you any compromise from the Republicans? Did it get you a single vote? Did it get you any rhetoric where they say, well, at least Joe Biden was reasonable, he sent back all the Haitians? No, they pretended that you let them all in with their Gucci bags. And so Anna's right, the original thesis for why we can't let any immigrants in. By the way, before, did we let poor immigrants in? By the millions when they were Italian and Irish. And yes, they suffered discrimination, but at the time we didn't need them to have Gucci bags. They had barely survived the famine in Ireland. We let them in because we were decent human beings in America. That was what made us a shining city on a hill. Now you turn around when they're brown and black and you say, I don't want them. And what's your excuse? Oh, because they're gonna come here to mooch off the welfare state. Well, make up your mind. Are they trying to mooch off the welfare state, or do they travel thousands of miles across unbelievable terrain with their Gucci bags? Which one is it? Okay, even every Republican in the audience knows that Lindsey Graham was lying.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And what do we see from members of the Republican Party over and over and over again? As we discuss the current economic situation in the country, as we discuss the budget reconciliation bill, what it includes, how it improves people's lives. Republicans just discuss anything related to culture that could terrify Republican voters, especially the older Republican voters who tend to watch programs on Fox News, right? Be scared, don't pay attention to the fact that we're robbing you, right? That we're corrupt politicians that are allowing pharmaceutical companies to price gouge you. Just focus on the scary Brazilian fashionistas. They're coming for you with their Gucci bags. It's pathetic.
You know, the lobbyist hallway used to be called Gucci Gulch in DC.
Really?
Yeah, and so there's a famous book about it and everything. So this because the lobbyists are rich and represent rich people, so they all had Gucci on. And who is Lindsey Graham's favorite set of people in the world? Lobbyists, who are known to wear Gucci. Guys, again, if you're the most ardent right winger, it doesn't really matter. Okay, you hate immigrants, that's fine, right? We'll fight on that a different day. But who do you think is more likely to have Gucci bags? Poor Haitian/Brazilian immigrants that went thousands of miles to come here without a dollar in their pocket, or Lindsey Graham's lobbyist friends? Come on, you know the answer to that. Stop. And by the way, why does Lindsey lie to you all the time if you're a Republican? Because there's no consequences. You gotta at some point, if you're a right winger, say, hey, maybe I agree with your policies, but can you stop treating me like I'm an idiot? Because I know you're lying and it's obvious. When you don't say that, he goes, oh, okay, they like it. They like the lies.
I want them to ask better questions though. Like, hey, you are one of the most powerful people, not just in the country, in the world. Why are you allowing pharmaceutical companies to price gouge us? Yeah,
every Republican, including Lindsey Graham, is against negotiating drug prices. What kind of free market capitalism says you can't negotiate? That's the exact opposite of the free market. And that's crony capitalism, corporatism, that's destroying both democracy and capitalism. Lindsey Graham's in favor of it. Why don't you ask him about that? Well, you say, wait, why would you say that we should have higher drug prices? It's gonna cost us $500 billion, the taxpayers. That's $500 billion, Lindsey Graham. Oh, wait a minute, oh, you get tons of money from drug companies. I wonder if that has something to do with it. You know who actually is 40,000 strong with Gucci bags? Pharma company lobbyists who are invading Washington right now and spending tens of millions of dollars on scummy politicians like Lindsey Graham. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.